stream. My video I can't even find, but we're still gonna come back and finish what we were talking about. Hold on one second. I'm gonna share my link on my Substack before we get started. I was just on here doing a live stream and I have no idea what happened to it. It cut me out and then it didn't save. So hopefully this one saves to my channel. Let me just share it really quick because the last link wasn't working. And then we're going to pick up where we left off, which was talking about how emotionally mature women protect their peace. The conversation was just getting good. I'm so sad that it cut out, honestly. 1 second. What's up? Sorry if you hear that in the back. It's about to be a thunderstorm. Okay. Hopefully people find my channel again. I just shared my link on my blog. This is part 2. Hopefully part 1 is recovered on my channel shortly of how emotionally mature women protect their peace. So if you missed the first part of this series, it's going to be on my channel. Go and check that out. If you're new here, my name is Renee. I'm an artist and a life and health coach, and I talk about personal development, self-growth, all of those fun topics, women's wellness. This is what this channel and my pages are for. So if that's something of interest to you, definitely subscribe and make sure you check out my work. We just did a part 1. It cut out. This is part 2. We're going to pick up from where we were on tip number 3. But I'll do a quick recap for people that are just joining. I'm going to make sure that everyone on my blog has the current link. I'm going to delete this last one. And we're going to get started. Okay. So if you guys are on my Substack, I just put on my page today this quote about how eldest daughters need to repeat after me. A lot of the time, the oldest sibling in the family is the person that takes on the most like emotional burden, and they have this sense of like maturity. And I feel like especially eldest daughters need to understand that it is not their job to manage anybody's mood. That's a part of how you can maintain and create a sense of emotional control. Yep, my live stream cut out before. I don't know why. This is part 2. If you guys are just joining this on TikTok or on YouTube, we're going to pick up where we left off, and hopefully my other live stream goes back to my channel. Okay? How emotionally mature women protect their peace. I'm going to do a quick recap, and then we're going to pick up where we left off. Because we don't want to be faking our sense of unbotheredness, our sense of maturity. We don't want to be putting on this air, this fake confidence. We want to really be unbothered. We want to really feel that unmoved by other people. We don't want to take every little thing that somebody else does and take it to mean something about ourselves, especially when it comes to people's moods, people's behaviors. Not everything is about you. People are allowed to have stress. They're allowed to have bad days, emotional fluctuations, and it has nothing to do. I subbed. Obviously not a woman, but I like this type of content in my algorithm. Thanks for subscribing. I do a lot of videos on personal development and growth. I think anybody can join the live stream, but I primarily work with women, so that's why all of my titles are geared toward them. But obviously anybody can join. All right? The first thing we were talking about in the last video that I hope comes back to my channel and wasn't deleted was that emotional mature women have learned not to internalize everything, not make everything their fault. If this is your default setting, where if something goes wrong, you automatically try to blame yourself, or if somebody's not acting right, you automatically think that it's something that you must have done. That's not always the case, okay? Not every mood shift is about you. Not hypervigilance doesn't always serve us. If you're watching this on TikTok, make sure that you leave a like so that this live stream can be shared to more people, okay? Emotional maturity means resisting the urge to create a story around every little change. So that was the first thing we talked about in part 1 of how to become emotionally mature. It's to learn not to internalize every little thing and come back into your own world. Get out of the worlds of other people. Get out of the minds of other people, the energy fields of other people, if you want to take it there. Thanks for the likes on TikTok. Leave me a like if you're enjoying this live stream. I was cut out before and I have to start all over, so I appreciate it. It'll help my live stream get shared to more people. Peace comes from learning not to personalize everything that you notice. That's really what it is. That's really where a sense of emotional control comes from. Learning not to personalize everything that you notice and noticing it and letting it just pass by. Okay, this person might have an attitude, learning to watch it, observe it, and let it pass by. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's anything that you did, and you will be taking on so much if you make it your responsibility to make sure that everyone around you is in a good mood constantly. It's just unsustainable, and it's an unhealthy amount of pressure to put on yourself as one person, okay, as one being. Thanks for the likes on TikTok. Okay, today's topic is how to become emotionally mature and have a sense of inner peace. You have to learn how to become less emotionally reactive. And sometimes we are trained into becoming emotionally reactive because we just go through a lot of things. Sometimes we face disappointment. Sometimes we face betrayal. Sometimes people just piss us off. Sometimes we experience, and I hope this isn't you, but I know this happens, where it's like when one thing goes wrong, everything starts to go wrong. We start to live out a series of unfortunate events like that movie or like that book. And if that's you, I feel for you, but notice what might be happening is that your brain has now started to expect bad things to happen. It started to expect drama. It's starting to expect chaos. So if you're not aware, right, what can happen is that even if things are okay, even if there's nothing, there's no immediate threat, your body and your mind can be trained to constantly scan for danger, for anything to go wrong. And you are trained into feeling that way, right? Through a series of events, through whatever might have happened, through your environment, but you can also train yourself out of it. You can train yourself to make peace your baseline. You can train yourself to experience calm and make that your regular thing. And the weird thing is that that is becoming something that's so uncommon, like people to just be calm. Aside from like things that happen in our personal life, it's starting to become really rare to experience calm people because everything in our society is basically going against that. Like even social media, it kind of puts you in this mental space of like moving very fast, right? It's designed that way. It's designed to keep you scrolling, keep you engaged, keep your brain going up, down. Like, I'm not going to get into the way that social media affects your mind, but if you go out into the world and you get off the internet, you start to realize like calm people are really far and few in between. And when you're somebody who has a sense of emotional control and calmness, like for real, like not faking it or trying to um, aura farm or whatever, or aura max, whatever. Like if that's really who you are, like you're dead ass, like a calm person, you're chill. That's rare. You stand out because that's not common at all anymore. Okay. Thanks for joining this live on TikTok and on YouTube. If you missed part one, it's going to be on my channel really soon. One sec. Thanks for joining. Let me know your comments on today's topic on becoming emotionally mature. The number two thing that we discussed in the previous video on how to become emotionally mature and develop this sense of inner peace is that understanding protecting your peace means managing your own internal atmosphere. So what that looks like is taking the power out of other people's hands, taking your emotional state out of other people's control. Because when you're expecting other people to behave perfectly and your emotions are dependent on that, that day might take a long time to come. Okay, it might not ever happen, and you're better off learning to manage that on your own. because you always will have yourself, right? Some people wake up emotionally, some women especially wake up emotionally stable. Everything's going to be good, right? Our day's going to go great. And then you lose your entire mood because of one text, one interaction, one look. And that's how you end up in this space where everything is pulling on your emotions and you feel out of control. Can you explain what your channel is about? My channel is about personal development and women's wellness. I talk about personal development, health, wellness, growth, all of those things. That's what my channel is about, and all of my social media platforms. If you're new here, my name is Renee. I'm a life and health coach, and I'm an artist. I have over 200 videos on my channel dedicated to this topic. So I hope you go and explore after today's live stream is finished. Okay? Emotional maturity is being able to self-regulate instead of emotionally collapsing outwards. So if your entire mood, thanks for subscribing, if your entire mood is thrown off by small things, that is a really, like, I don't envy you, right? Like, that is not a comfortable position to be in, because at any given moment your mood can change and your day can be thrown off by small things. You want to get out of that state of being. It really is a state of being that you can train yourself out of. You can train yourself out of being triggered easily. You can train yourself out of taking everything so personally. And it starts with the decision to embody the fact that your internal state is up to you. Your emotions are really up to you. You have to decide for yourself that you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be in control of how you feel. It doesn't belong with other people. We want to stop letting these little things throw us off, whether it's someone taking longer to reply, someone seeming distant, someone's bad mood, a form of criticism or rejection. If we take everything in, at the end of the day, it's going to affect us the most. You think emotionally mature women are made more through experience or upbringing and nurture? I think that you become emotionally mature a lot through experience, and depending on your upbringing, sometimes it doesn't matter how you were brought up, because you still have to learn things for yourself. Like, you can hear something over and over and over again, but until you actually go through it, you won't see how true it is. And we take a lot of advice that we are given when we're growing up for granted. So I would say it's mostly through experience and through learning. That's why, education is super important. And they don't teach a lot on emotional intelligence. A lot of people they assume that this skill, and I feel like it's not something that's obvious. It's something that has to be cultivated, and that's why I make videos on this topic, because it is like a life skill, having EQ, which is emotional intelligence and emotional maturity. It's something you have to grow into and learn. Okay? So, emotionally mature women know how to return to themselves. Okay, this is where we left off in the last video. Now we're finally getting caught up, okay? How emotionally mature women protect their peace. The third way is understanding what it really means to have thick skin. I feel like this concept of thick skin is really misinterpreted and misunderstood a lot of the time, because sometimes when you think of having thick skin, you think of ignoring or suppressing your emotions. Like, you think that's what it means to have thick skin, is to just ignore. But that's not necessarily what it means. I'm going to redefine what having thick skin means, okay? And what I think having thick skin means is that you learn how to process things on the inside. They're not constantly being thrown onto other people, or you're not constantly expecting other people to manage your emotions for you. Having thick skin means, this is the clear definition of what having thick skin means: learning how to process your emotions internally, and not, what do they say, hot potatoing it onto other people and expecting them to do something with that. And I feel like a lot of people get into that habit. That's very common, but if you think about it, it's kind of sometimes inconsiderate to the other person. I don't know if you guys have heard of the concept of toxic venting. Like, have you ever been talking to someone and it's like on some level, right? We're friends, like you want to know about what's going on in somebody's life. But sometimes we get into the habit of toxic venting, which is when you're venting so much that it's starting to wear the other person out and you're kind of in a state of complaining and not necessarily wanting a solution. And that kind of energy can be very, very draining, not only for yourself, but for other people. So, thick skin does not mean suppressing emotions. I want to develop thick skin. I'm so sensitive. I got you, girl. This is what it means to develop thick skin. Learning how to process your emotions internally. Okay, this can look different, right? You can learn how to process your emotions if you want to go down the personal development route, like the self help route. You can learn how to process your emotions through journaling by just acknowledging what it is that you're feeling. Sometimes it just begins with an awareness of what is going on. And if you can keep this awareness about your emotions while not letting your emotions rule and dominate your life, this is how you learn how to process them. You learn how to process them on the inside. Sometimes you do really need to process it with another person. And in that event, you might benefit from professional help. You might benefit from therapy. There's no shame in that. It's really normalized now to seek therapy and go that route. But there are ways that you can process your emotions internally. I would say through journaling, through learning about the topic that's concerning you. Venting, yeah, venting has limits. Sometimes venting is okay, but there are extremes. Sometimes it can be toxic. And I want you to notice the next time that you're venting to someone, if you feel better after the fact. Do you feel better after venting? Genuinely. Next time, pay attention because sometimes venting actually makes us feel worse because we're retelling our brain the same story. So, how does your brain have a chance to recover from that narrative, from that story that you keep telling yourself, if every time you're talking to someone, you are basically reaffirming it to yourself and to the other person? It starts to train your brain that this is the way that it is. And your words are really powerful. They determine, how you view the world, how you perceive things, how your day goes. Like the way that you view the world is everything. So that's what I want to say about venting. But having thick skin, thick skin means learning how to process your emotions internally, making it an inside job, not really allowing your emotions to dominate and rule your life. Emotions are up and down every single moment, right? Who can put their trust in emotions? Sometimes you have to learn to let your emotions take the back seat. Facing reality honestly. That is the definition of having thick skin because a lot of times, especially my ladies, I'm sorry that I've been guilty of this in the past too. We get lost in the fantasy. We get lost in the way that we want things to be. We're not really living in reality sometimes, and we get caught up in our dream, right, that we're not taking things in for what they really are. But if you can learn how to face reality honestly and continue to work on your goals and change what's not working, that's having thick skin. Now you're on a different level, you're in a different playing field because you can only get so far when you are avoiding reality, when you're living in a place of constantly having to escape reality. That is not an empowered state when you are trying not to face reality. Sometimes that's what having thick skin is having enough courage to take an accurate assessment of what your life is like right now, facing reality honestly for the good and the bad. Okay, sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down, but avoiding reality, avoiding what is not going to help you move forward. The longer that you avoid reality and the way that things really are, the more you are pushing back, your potential blessings, the potential positive things that could happen in your life once you get to the other side. So having thick skin is meaning two, Process your emotions internally. That's having thick skin. Facing reality honestly and learning not to run away or live in a fantasy world. That's having thick skin. Okay? You got to have thick skin to face reality, face the world. A lot of people spend their time constantly trying to escape reality. Moments of escaping reality, right, is okay. Entertainment, social media, going out to eat, drinking, momentarily, right? But I'm talking about when it's becoming a state of being, like you're living in a mode of avoidance, of not wanting to accept what is happening, and you're living more in your fantasy world than in real life. No, that's actually a form of self-sabotage. We want to get out of that. Okay? A lot of people say they want peace but get uncomfortable when things actually get stable. Yeah, that's what I was saying that before. Some people are really addicted to drama. They need the drama to feel entertained. Like they need the drama to feel alive. They need some kind of chaos because they're used to it. So when they're moving into a calmer state or maybe like more quiet or whatever it is, they really start to feel uncomfortable because their body and mind is so used to constant stress. And that's not necessarily a good thing. That's why you have to train it, right? How can you tell you're dealing with a woman who's really on that level? The only thing that will help you is time. People can tell you all day who they are. They can tell you what they do. You're going to see what it really is the more time goes on. That's one thing I know. Okay? Having thick skin is processing emotions internally, facing reality honestly. Ladies, getting out of this fantasy realm. I understand the appeal, okay? I'm an artist. I know the appeal of fantasy, okay? But your life requires a a sober mind. When you're thinking about what you want your life to look like, what your goals are, what you're trying to manifest, you need a stable, clear mind to make that happen. Things do not just happen overnight. You need a clear mind, a clear vision, and you're not going to attain that by avoiding reality and living in this space where you think that just because you're wishing for something to be true that it's going to happen, or if you just keep telling yourself the same thing that it's going to become true. No, right? That's a state of avoidance. So I said, Bumbukla, not time. Yeah, you need time. Actions speak louder than words. Yes, exactly. If you're watching this on TikTok, leave me a like. Don't be shy. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're enjoying this time live stream, leave me a like also because my last live stream got cut off. Okay? Having thick skin equals, for the person that said that they need to develop thick skin, they're very sensitive. This is how you develop thick skin. First of all, just going through enough things, sometimes you have to just learn that way. But thick skin is learning how to process your emotions inside, not expecting other people to handle that. Learning to face reality honestly, not living in this escape mode all of the time. Next, not needing constant emotional management from others. If your friend doesn't answer the phone when something happened, when you're going through something, are you going to be okay? Can you be your own like comfort? Do you give yourself that privilege? Do you give yourself that like luxury of being your own comfort and giving it to yourself? Or are you in a state where you're constantly needing affirmation from someone else, constantly needing someone to make sense of what you're feeling because you don't really know? If you don't know how you feel, how is somebody else going to make sense of how you feel? So please just tell me how that makes sense. Does that make sense? No. We having thick skin is not needing that constant emotional support from other people. Sometimes it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes we need that, but constantly that's not healthy. We can't expect that also. That's putting a lot of weight on other people. Okay? Hi, thanks for joining today's live stream. We're talking about how to be emotionally mature and develop a sense of emotional control, inner peace. Okay, we're talking about what it means to have thick skin. not needing constant emotional management from others. I feel like this is one of the ways that, we regress. Like, we're maybe not as grown as we think we are when we catch ourselves behaving like this. And sometimes that's what's happening. Okay? Having thick skin is tolerating discomfort without spiraling. This is a big one. If something strange happens, if someone says an off comment, right? And you're like, what did they mean by that? If something makes you uncomfortable, if you see a triggering video on your For You page, if you're just walking around and you see something you don't like, can you tolerate it without going mad? Like, without really being thrown off? Like, you have to up up your threshold of how much discomfort you can tolerate. That's how you're going to build thick skin. Okay? Are you having a bad day? I hope you have a great day. No, I'm having a great day. I'm having an amazing day. God took his precious time with you. Thank you. Thanks for joining today's live stream. We're talking about how to become emotionally mature, tolerating discomfort without spiraling. Are you somebody that really gets thrown off by feeling uncomfortable? Do you allow yourself to feel uncomfortable? Because let me tell you something. If you can't, what's it called? If you can't tolerate discomfort, you're also stopping yourself from experiencing the discomfort that might happen when good things take place, when positive changes happen in your life. You're stopping yourself from experiencing the discomfort that comes with that, because there is a discomfort that comes from growing, okay? That's growing pains. It's very, very uncomfortable, but on the other side, what? It's worth it, right? Things don't just happen overnight. So, how to become emotionally mature is learning how to have thick skin. What thick skin is not? Thick skin is not just ignoring things and suppressing your emotions. Thick skin is learning to process your emotions internally, learning to face reality honestly, learning that you don't need constant emotional support from other people. It might be nice, but you don't need it. Tolerating discomfort without spiraling. Are you Dominican? Yes, I'm Dominican. You look Dominican. I am Dominican. I have angry issue. Okay, we're talking about emotional control, so this video might be for you, because sometimes when we have anger issues, we have very thin skin, meaning like little things get to us very quickly. And thankfully, that's something that you can train, but it's a process. So you're going to have patience with yourself. But what you don't want is for other people to be pulling the strings on how you feel every day or on what you do. Like, you don't want to be pushed so easily, right? You want to be stable within yourself. Okay? This is how you also get out of that victim mentality. You get out of that emotional impulsiveness. Like, maybe you act on your emotions very quickly and then you regret it, right? Because you were impulsive out of emotion. You want to train yourself out of that, because that can escalate very, very quickly. And, once you're an adult, people don't make the same exceptions for you. You know what I mean? So that's something that, you need to work on. New subscriber, I'm only 23 years old, fresh, brand new. Thanks for subscribing. We're talking about personal development and how to develop emotional control. It's natural to lose control. Human beings, yeah, it's natural for human beings, but there are things that we can do so that we can feel more stable inside and other people aren't controlling our emotions so much, right? That's what inner work is, okay? We want to train ourselves out of needing that constant emotional reassurance. A lot of people think emotional strength means never feeling hurt. No, that's not what I'm saying. We're not robots, okay? Real emotional strength is feeling hurt without losing yourself to that event, okay? Number 4 way that emotionally mature, I forgot the title of this live because I've been on this live for so long. Hold on. How emotionally mature women protect their peace. Can we take a pause and interact for a few minutes? You can leave a comment at any time. I'm reading all the comments as we go. All right. Yeah, emotional maturity. That's what we're talking about. Thanks for joining today's live on TikTok or on YouTube. Let me know any thoughts that you might have. Okay, we are on tip number 4 of how emotionally mature women protect their peace. Everybody deserves to have peace. Everybody deserves to feel that peace, okay? That's what I'm trying to get across in this video. I'm trying to give you the tools so that you can create that in your own life because it's awesome, okay? You want to feel peaceful, or do you want to feel emotional all the time? Do you want to feel angry all the time? Do you want to feel like anything happens and, you blow your top? Emotionally mature women stop trying to control people. They stop trying to control everything. Do you have control issues? If you have control issues when it comes to people, when it comes to situations, environments, it doesn't surprise me if you have emotional control issues as well. I'm always emotional. Okay, you are in control of that. That's what I'm going to tell you. You're in control of your emotions, not other people. You're very wise for a young lady. I wonder how you attain this wisdom. Thank you. One second. Thank you so much. It's very nice. All of my videos on my channel are about personal development. So if you enjoyed today's live stream, I really encourage you to go and check out my other videos as well and subscribe. All right. Emotionally mature women stop trying to control people. They stop trying to control everything. They stop trying to control their environment. Trying to control people, trying to maintain a sense of control of your environment in general is often a symptom of anxiety. So when you're in this state of having to control every little thing, what's happening is that your anxiety is manifesting itself in this way. From my 32 years old life experience, women always want to be told what to do. Between men and women, we live in two completely different worlds. Sad to say, but it just is what it is. I think you meant to say completely different worlds. I agree that men and women are very different. I'm not sure that I would say all women want to be told what to do, but maybe you are trying to say that men are natural leaders, because I think that's true. I think that both genders have their place. So it makes sense that we live in different worlds. We're experiencing life differently. We're not the same. We're complements to each other. Okay? One thing I really don't like in the social media space right now is the women against men thing. I feel like I'm so tired of these videos where the women and men are put against each other. It's just like, it's getting old. Like, I'm getting bored from that already. Like, let's move on. Yeah? Let's move on from that. Okay? Emotionally mature women stop trying to control people. Trying to control people is a symptom of anxiety. Trying to control your environment is a symptom of anxiety. When you let go of the need and the desire to control everything that is happening around you, especially other people, which honestly is not your right, like it's not right. People have the ability to act how they want, they have the ability to live life how they want. Once you release that control, you're also releasing anxiety. Okay? And once you release that anxiety, what's going to happen? Positive things. You're going to experience a little bit more peace. I'm so tired of that too. Like overly antagonizing men and women, like we all need to be in unity. Yeah, it's really like, I think that it's dying out. I hope that it's dying out, but it's changed the way that people think in real life, which is really disturbing. Like, I was watching this video from this girl that was like how the red pill destroyed my relationships or something. And I didn't know what red pill was. I had to like look it up, but I'm like, whoa, like there's so many videos that are on that kind of track. And the sad thing is that it really changes the way people act in real life. Like, it's changing the way people view the world. It's changing relationships. Like, I don't think for the better. Like, I'm tired of the gender wars. There's this sentence in Spanish that goes like this: La hypergamia no perdona. It's just like men, they all fall short on lust. Biggest weakness on both parts. You think lust is the biggest weakness on the part of men and women? That's interesting. I think that men and women experience lust differently, but we're definitely both suffering from lust, because I think men experience more lust physically, and that's kind of where they get tripped up. And don't even get me started on what corn has done to brains, but they definitely have a lot of things working against them and enforcing that. So men experience lust physically, then women experience lust in different ways, because lust isn't only physical. You can also lust for like the world. So I think women experience lust for attention. They experience lust for material things. And that you can even lust over food. Like, you can have a lust for food. If you've ever experienced binge eating or periods of your life where you're overeating, that's also a form of lust. Because what's lust? Lust is an insatiable desire, meaning no matter how much you get of it, it's not enough. And honestly, that's why it's evil, because there's no satisfaction. It's just a constant desire. It's a constant like obsession for a need that's never going to be fulfilled, because it's operating from a place of lust. What's up? Thanks for joining today's live. Let me know what you guys think about this topic so far. A lot of people act like emotional maturity is more about self-awareness, but I feel it's more self-control. What do you think? It's probably a little bit of both. True facts. Thanks for joining today's live. Leave me a like on TikTok too. Don't be shy. Emotionally mature women, or just emotionally mature people, they understand that they are not in control. And it's okay. It's okay to not be in control of everything. It's okay. It's fine. We don't have to control people and what they think or what they do or the world or events or the environment all the time. Like, you let people be who they are, and you allow yourself to be who you are. It's a mutual thing. If you're trying so hard to control other people, you're also probably in some aspects negatively trying to overly control yourself. And this manifests in different ways. For women, this manifests sometimes within eating disorders. Eating disorders have a lot to do with control. Okay? So when you grow into emotional maturity, you learn to surrender control. You learn to understand that not everything is up to you. Because why? Because you are respecting people's free will. You're accepting that people can live life how they want to, that not everything is up to you. You take yourself out of God's seat, okay? Not everything is up to you, and that's okay. And that's going to relieve you of a lot of anxiety when you understand that, okay? Other ways that we can release control and we learn to stop controlling people is that we stop over explaining. Because when you're over explaining, sometimes you're just trying so hard to get somebody to see things the same way that you do. And sometimes that's not going to happen. People have their own views, people have their own opinions. Learning to respectfully disagree with people is a major life skill, okay? Okay, I'm out. Wish you the best in your journey. Thanks for joining today's live. Join me in the next one. Make sure you subscribe before you go. Don't leave without subscribing. Okay? Emotionally mature women stop trying to control people. They stop feeling this need to over explain. They stop chasing reassurance all the time. Like, they don't need it. They don't need the likes. They don't need the, 10 happy birthday texts from people they haven't spoken to in 20 years. Like, that's just a funny one, but you know what I mean? Like, they're not chasing that. They're not chasing that reassurance. They are not obsessing over behavior changes. They're not people pleasing. These are all attempts to regain emotional certainty through control. I'm just scrolling, liking, and subscribing to everyone. Well, thanks for subscribing. Make sure you like this live stream. Don't leave me out. Make sure you like this one too. Okay? Girls are addicted to attention. That's what I was saying. That's how women experience lust. Because somebody said that men experience lust and that's their downfall. And I was saying, and he also said that women and men experience that. And I was like, yes, but in different ways, because women experience lust sometimes for attention, for material things, for lifestyle. Like, lust has a lot of different ways that it shows up in people's life, but it definitely shows up the same way in this one thing, that it is an insatiable desire, meaning that no matter how much you get of it, you're never satisfied. That's the feeling of lust. And if you've ever experienced lust, it's honestly a really shitty feeling. Like, it sucks. And I've seen this a lot with, like, trying to acquire wealth, right? Like, sometimes there are status games and it's like they never end. Like, no matter how much you get, it's just like constantly a competition. And it's like, damn, I thought it would feel good at this point. Like, I used to really want to be over here. And then you realize, oh wait, there's still a moving goalpost. And it's this feeling of lust. Okay. You cannot, emotionally mature women stop trying to control people, and they literally learn to just stop trying to control things in general. They understand that they only really have control over themselves, over their own life, over their own eyes. They cannot go into the eyes of other people and change the way that the other person is seeing them. They're not overly concerned with how other people are receiving them. They feel secure. They feel okay within themselves. So that manifests as letting go of control. They don't feel that need. Okay? You start releasing control of people's feelings. You let people start feeling how they want to feel. And you accept it. Doesn't mean you agree all the time, but you accept it. You accept that it might be different than how you feel. You don't control that. You release control of timing. You let things unfold as they may. You take responsibility for what it is that you can do right now with what you have. Okay? You start from that point and you let the timing unfold. You stop controlling the timing. You release control from attention. You let people pay attention to what they want. Okay? You release control from choices. You let people make their own choices and you make your own choices as well. You don't try to control other people's choices unless, like, you're a parent and it's coming from like that place where you're trying to give guidance to your child or something. You don't really have the right to force people's choices. Okay? You stop forcing and trying to control emotional availability. Sometimes people are just not in that place at that time and you can't force it. And unfortunately, sometimes people aren't really honest about their emotional state. Sometimes it's not on purpose. They can genuinely just not understand how they feel, or they're just at a point in their life where they don't really know what's going on. They're just, trying to figure it out. So they don't have the capacity to be honest about what they're emotionally available for. But that falls on you to decide if you want to stick around for that or not. But either way, it's not in your hands. It's not up to your control. Okay? All right. Let me know what you guys think about this topic. Make sure that you like today's live stream. Peace begins when you stop trying to emotionally manage everyone around you. this has been one of the biggest shifts for me lately, is understanding that other people's moods are not my responsibility. You have no idea. I do think that women, they feel this a lot more. Like they feel responsible for the emotions of the people around them, and they take on it for themselves to make the emotional environment of their group, of their partner, of their household. And that's why women sometimes talk about something called emotional labor. I feel like that's becoming something that's really popular now, like talking about emotional labor. And I feel like when women start to put these things into words, sometimes unintentionally, it creates a lot of conflict with men because they start to feel like they are blamed. But what women are trying to do now is put into words the work that they're doing that's not being seen, right? And part of that is emotional labor, which is basically feeling like you are responsible for everyone's emotions all the time. And that can be really exhausting, okay? Okay, you guys talking to each other? Let me know if you guys know what I mean when I talk about emotional labor, because that's something I've seen come up a lot. And releasing this, it's not even like a need, it's more like an inclination. Like you're just naturally, like, you feel like it's your responsibility to manage other people's moods or to take on other people's moods, and it's not yours. That has been such a big shift for me. I put it on my blog the other day. If you're not subscribed to my blog, please go and subscribe on there if you enjoy topics like this. But I was like, eldest daughter's got to stand up, okay, and affirm. It is not my job to manage anybody's mood. Like we literally have gotten so used to it that we have to like really train ourselves to stop thinking that way, because it's habitual. It's like unconscious and habitual that we just automatically take on the moods of other people around us, and we like integrate it, and we literally start to feel their emotions with them. There's no line in the sand where you end and the other person begins, because we just feel like that's our domain, the emotions, and it's not always healthy. But emotional maturity is beginning to understand that it's not your responsibility to manage everyone's mood. It's not. It's not. And it's not your fault if someone's in a bad mood or if they're not on the same frequency. Not that you're always going to be in a better one or a higher one, but it's just either way, it's not your responsibility. It's not your doing. You let people be who they are. You allow people to be who you are. Why are you guys talking about mofongo in the comments? Are you guys listening? Number 5. Emotional maturity requires radical honesty with other people, and radical honesty with yourself. If you're joining this on TikTok, leave a like so that this live stream can be shared to other people. Leave me a like on YouTube as well. Okay? Emotional maturity requires radical honesty. Facing where you are in life honestly. Taking an accurate assessment of where you are right now, what you like about what's going on in your life, what you don't like, what you'd like to change. It doesn't matter, but having the courage to be really honest with yourself and not live in a delusion, in a state of denial. You're not doing yourselves any favor when you live in this state of denial or not accepting what it is, okay? That's actually technically called living in a state of resistance when you're not accepting what is. Radical honesty is accepting where you are right now, okay? Emotional maturity requires radical honesty, accepting reality instead of fantasizing. A lot of us have gotten into the habit of living life in this fantasy mindset. I understand where that comes from, but we can't live in that mode. We need to face reality as well. We cannot constantly be living in this way of constantly trying to escape reality. Accepting reality, confronting it, and working with it is going to take you a lot farther. And that's part of maturing, okay? Not using delusion to avoid discomfort. So sometimes when we don't want to accept something, we will make up some like alternative version in our mind and tell ourselves that so much that we literally start to believe it. now you're literally delusional. Like, we don't want to use that to avoid discomfort. Okay? Hip hop culture is somewhere I noticed that fantasy mindset thrives later on. Yeah, in music, that fantasy mindset is everything. A lot of artists operate from that fantasy mindset. So I definitely understand. Emotional maturity requires radical, but that's different, right? When it's coming in terms of art, because it's for a purpose. When you're creating art, you're making a work, you're making an artwork. So in that scenario, it makes sense. But I'm talking about when you're trying to like make a plan for your life. Like when you're assessing your life, you don't want to be in that mindset. Okay. Understanding when something is unhealthy instead of romanticizing it. This is how we end up in situations that we don't like for a long time because we're in the state of denial. And you know what? Sometimes you have to learn through experience and through the consequences because you will learn that sometimes you need to just accept the reality, accept the truth. Okay? Emotionally mature women stop negotiating with reality and they start to accept it, work with it, alchemize it, change it, build on it for a better future. Okay? So, between this video and my last live stream, I gave you guys some really practical advice on how to become emotionally mature and develop that state and sense of inner peace and have emotional control. So, I hope that you guys go back to the beginning of my previous videos if you missed this entirety of the live stream. Thanks for watching and let me know what topics you guys want to see next, all about personal development, health, wellness. Okay, I'll see you guys on my next one.